Extreme CMT is a ceramic metal treatment, not an additive, that uses nanotechnology to increase performance by rejuvenating a wide range of metal surfaces. Extreme CMT uses lubricants as a carrying agent to fill the porosity in the metal surface with ceramic particulate that carbonizes from heat and friction and bonds with the surface, causing a reduction of porosity in the metal surface, thus reducing friction. Here is what professional driver and team manager Gerald Lowe has to say about his experience with Extreme CMT. Yeah, so we're here at Pacific Raceway today with Motorsport USA and Gerald Lowe. We'd like to ask you a few questions about your racing with Extreme CMT. What is it that makes you use?
Well, you know, this all started a long time ago with our endurance racing background, and years ago when Extreme CMT was being developed, we got to be on the ground floor, and through all of our endurance racing, our 25-hour long races, we've been able to use the Extreme CMT in our transmissions and our engines. And for a guy who has to go through all those engines and transmissions, the wear has been way better. So it's made us a lot more reliable to be able to actually finish those races. The amount of load that we have on these engines, it's just 100% load for 25 hours. And you know, we used to have rod bearing failures, we used to have gear failures, not anymore. I mean, and you know, it's a tough market to go start putting stuff into oil. But once we actually saw the results for us as a team, now we really get upset when we don't have it. I mean, it's like panic mode. We have to make sure to get Extreme CMT into our transmissions and our engines.
So is it just durability that's a factor, or is there a performance enhancement?
You know, for us, we're always looking for the reliability. You know, the nice side effect that we've noticed with this product is we also have a chassis dyno that we test everything on, and not just for the horsepower, but for the reliability side of things. And what we've noticed with the Extreme CMT is we run it on the dyno, we break in the engines and make sure we get a good baseline. And then from there, we add in the Extreme CMT, and then we've also been able to get the side effect of getting some more horsepower out of it. And so kind of getting the best of both worlds.
Do you experience not necessarily an increase in performance, but just a more steady performance during the race where an engine won't drop off?
Well, we certainly don't worry about our motors anymore. You know, the difference is when you got the balance of an engine and you're at 8,200 RPMs, it's just a difference of it being smoother, right? There's that little less as a driver, the vibration of the engine. Nobody likes at 8,200 RPM in a 6-cylinder engine or a V8 engine like we have here. And so that little bit of balance, it almost feels like the motor's balanced, where, you know, without running it, it's just that slight bit of difference.
So what would you say to somebody that just is thinking about investing the $30 to put it in their personal vehicle?
Well, it's a pretty cheap investment when you're talking about whether or not the rod bearing is going to fail or not fail, whether or not a gear is going to go in or not. You know, transmission's pretty darn expensive. These race engines are even yet way more expensive, and it's the difference of engine transmission life or death to us. And it's taken, you know, a long time to get to this point for us. And now we're there. It's a new world for us, and it's much more settling world.
Well, I did ask one of the drivers in your group that if he was using Extreme in his car, and he said, well, I really don't have a choice.
So I mean, right, and that's the way we kind of began feeling. So it's really exciting for me because I'm a racetrack support guy, I'm a race car driver. I do both, so I get to feel the difference as a driver, I get to see the difference as a mechanic. And I know all these guys, I travel around the country, and I stick my neck out there constantly because that's how much I believe in it. And not just for my good or Extreme CMT's good, or the good of my customers, because I got to see it and it's actually pretty exciting. Especially to be in, for us, is on the ground floor from, you know, prototype to development to production, and then doing all these 25-hour long races and 6-hour races. It's just neat. And so through all the years of us being mechanics, we see products come and go, and this is a product that should stick around, and it will, and it just sells itself because it actually works. And you know, I walk around the paddock and I probably annoy people all the time because I'm just like, you got to get your Extreme CMT in there, and it's just got that extra protection for us abusing our cars to actually make it more affordable for us to stay out here.
Have you been able to visually see some differences when you tear an engine or a transmission down, just in the normal wear process?
Right, and so, you know, we do all of our own engine work for the most part, except for the hardcore machining work. And so I'll tear down our sequential transmissions, all dog teeth gear, and I inspect the bearings, okay? And all the gears and dog teeth, and they look like new all the time. And I used to go through those same transmissions and I would see scoring marks and burn marks and all these things. And then the other thing is we don't even have to run as big of coolers anymore because the oil runs cooler. You know, I mean, less friction, less wear. I mean, we've been able to go, we're on 70 plus hours on one engine alone with the same rod bearings, and I think we're gonna go another 140. And I mean, all the results are there. You know, we've been in the 25 hours of Thunderhill. We've survived it 2 years in a row on the same engine. That used to be just unheard of, and we're racing at sprint race speeds the whole time.
Well, that's really good information, and I'm sure everybody that watches this will listen to what you have to say, and hopefully they'll want to add it to their car.
Absolutely, and I'm going to keep on preaching it as a team, as an individual, and it's not just a sponsor for us, you know, as a team. It's just, you know, it's just become a must-have. So,
well, I know my first involvement with it, Mike had asked me to get involved, and I wasn't very interested, and he just poured some in my car, and about a week later I realized my car is running different. Yeah. And that was my involvement. Was it's something that I think the average guy, if he pays attention, can even feel the difference in his car.
Well, and that's funny that you say something, because we've got our crew guys also, right? And now they're excited about this product. And, you know, one of my crew guys, he's got a Volkswagen TDI, okay? Turbo diesel, had I don't know, a couple 100,000 miles on it, and it burns a little oil. And he puts it in with some Locomoly oil, and he actually stopped burning oil. He got a little bit better mile per gallon. And I mean, I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right.
I've the cool thing that firsthand of not burning as much oil. I had an old Isuzu diesel. It reduced it by about 50%.
Yeah. I mean, it's magic. And the other really exciting story, and I've gotten to have a few of these stories. Daytona, the SCCA runoffs. I had a good pal who was there. His transmission wouldn't shift. It's a standard 6-speed transmission with synchros. And I said, hey, I know this sounds funny, okay? I know it sounds like snake oil of the world here, but please listen to me. Put in some Extreme CMT. I guarantee the car will shift better. Here's a guy who been a pro racer almost his entire career with Honda. Puts it in his car, goes out there, the car shifts like butter the entire SCCA runoffs at Daytona. And so that was a pretty cool deal to see that come to life. We've had guys with Dodge Vipers put it in, same thing. They go from being notchy and sticky and everything else to just shifting nice. Now sometimes that increases, you know, 30 to 70% better, but in a lot of cases it's 100% better. And so I get excited about it. So, you know, being a part of the team is just an extra benefit also.
Well, we really appreciate your support, and it's sorry for about all the background noise, but this guy's a busy guy, and we caught him at the races, and so that it is what it is.
Yes, and you can follow Motorsport USA at the Portland International Raceway for the World Challenge race there in 2018 in our Extreme CMT Maserati GT4 spec car, where we'll be competing in the GTS round. So we're very excited about that.
Well, thanks for your time, Gerald. I know you're really busy and just wrapping up the race for the day, and so we'll be at other races. And
yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.